Volcanoes. I mean, what a topic. They're one of the most powerful and, honestly, just spectacular forces our entire planet has to offer. They reach from deep inside the Earth right up into our atmosphere. Today, we're going to pop the hood on these incredible geologic engines and see what makes them tick.
And that is no exaggeration. It really is. When a volcano erupts, we are witnessing a raw, untamed process that has shaped our world for billions of years. It's a pretty vivid reminder that our planet is a living, breathing, and always changing place. So here's what we're going to get into. We'll start with the basics. What exactly is a volcano? Then we'll dive into the science of why they erupt. We'll check out a field guide to the different types. Look at how they can be both dangerous and helpful, and then wrap it all up with 5 key facts to take with you. All right, let's dive right in. First things first, when you strip away all the fire and smoke, what is a volcano really? Let's get down to the fundamentals. The easiest way to think about it is this. Earth has this super hot interior, right? And all that intense heat has to go somewhere. Volcanoes are basically the planet's pressure release valves. They're its way of letting off steam, literally.
So where do these vents usually pop up? Well, most of them are found right where the action is, along the edges of those huge rocky plates that make up the Earth's crust. You see them where plates are pulling apart, like in Iceland, or where they're crashing into each other, which created the famous Pacific Ring of Fire. And sometimes you even get them right in the middle of a plate, over something called a hotspot. That's exactly how the Hawaiian Islands were born.
Okay, so we've got the what and the where down, but now for the really cool part, the how. An eruption is the main event, so what's the science behind that incredible fiery blast? So what's the secret ingredient? What causes that massive explosion? You might think it's all about the super hot lava, but the real star of the show, the true driving force, is actually gas trapped under a whole lot of pressure. Okay, the absolute best way to picture this is with a shaken up bottle of soda. Deep underground, that hot molten rock, or magma, has all these gases dissolved right inside it, just like the fizz in a soft drink. As the magma starts rising up, the pressure on it gets lower and lower. This lets all those gases come out and form bubbles, and those bubbles want to expand fast. If they can't get out, the pressure just builds and builds until, pop, the whole thing blasts out. Now, here's the really crucial part. What makes one volcano have a gentle, flowing eruption, while another one has a catastrophic explosion? Well, it all comes down to how sticky the magma is. And that stickiness is controlled by something called silica. If the magma is low in silica, it's runny, and the gas bubbles can escape easily. Nice, gentle eruption. But if it's high in silica, it's thick and sticky. It traps those gas bubbles, building up incredible pressure. And that's when you get a really violent explosion. And that difference, runny versus sticky lava, it doesn't just decide how big the bang is, it actually shapes the entire volcano itself. So let's go on a little virtual field trip and meet the 3 main types.
First up, you've got your shield volcanoes. I love these. They're the gentle giants of the volcano world. They're built up slowly over thousands of years by countless flows of that runny, low silica lava. Because the lava can flow for miles, it creates these enormous mountains with really broad, gentle slopes, kind of like a warrior's shield lying on the ground. The massive volcanoes in Hawaii are perfect examples.
Then you have the one everyone pictures when they hear the word volcano, the stratovolcano. These are your classic, steep, cone-shaped mountains. They're built from that thick, sticky, high silica lava. Their eruptions are super explosive, throwing ash and rock high into the sky. And over time, all those layers of ash and thick lava build up to create those iconic peaks we all recognize, like Mount Fuji in Japan or Mount St. Helens in the US. And finally, we have the simplest ones, cinder cones. Think of these as the little siblings in the volcano family. They're usually smaller and can form from just a single eruption. Basically, gas-rich lava gets blasted into the air, shatters into little fragments called cinders, and then falls back down to build up a simple cone shape right around the vent. So, we've talked about the science, the how it works, but now let's get to the really big question. What does this all mean for us and for our planet? And there's no question, they can be one of nature's most destructive forces.
And let's be real, the dangers are absolutely terrifying. It's not just about the rivers of lava you see in movies. You got pyroclastic flows. These are super hot clouds of ash and gas that move faster than a race car. You've got ash falling from the sky that's heavy enough to collapse buildings, destructive mud flows called lahars, and even invisible clouds of poisonous gas.
Over 250,000 people? I mean, just let that number sink in. That's how many lives were lost in just four major eruptions over the past couple of centuries. The human cost can be absolutely devastating.
So, yeah, with all that in mind, it's pretty easy to just write them off as these terrible, destructive monsters, right? But is that the full picture? Not even close. Because, believe it or not, volcanoes are also creators. That volcanic ash breaks down to create some of the most fertile soil on the planet. That's why people have always built farms on their slopes. They bring valuable minerals up to the surface, they give us clean geothermal energy, and they create some of the most beautiful landscapes and even brand new land. Heck, on a global scale, volcanoes released the very gases that helped form our atmosphere and our oceans. All right, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's boil it all down to the 5 absolute key things you really need to remember about volcanoes. This is your takeaway. Okay, here we go. Number 1, at their heart, volcanoes are just vents, the planet's way of letting off steam. 2, gas is the engine. Always remember that shaken soda bottle. 3, sticky means explosive. It's the amount of silica in the magma that determines everything. 4, different lavas create different shapes, from those wide shields to the classic steep cones. And finally, number 5, they are both creators and destroyers, a dangerous but absolutely vital force for life on Earth. When you really think about it, volcanoes are this incredible reminder that we're living on a planet that's alive. The ground beneath our feet isn't static. It is constantly being built up and torn down. It just makes you wonder, what kind of world will these fiery forces build over the next million years?